So actually in Find Item window, actually we have another really interesting feature that we can actually export the conditions that you add in here, and we can use in different projects, or even in this project in some different times we can just import them in here. That is really smart feature that we have in Find Item window in here. So as a kind of BIM coordinator or BIM manager in different projects, of course you have some repetitive actions. And for example, this is one of those actions that it is repetitive and frequently. You can just use it in different projects or even in this project. How? As an example, let me click on one dot. For example, an element based on system classification here. For example, I want to filter it in here, or even I want to find item in here. As an example, let me just set it on element. Property will be system classification. So in this part, so let me find system classification equal. Or for example, we'll just set the condition for it. Let me just click on supply. We will equal, for example, copy value, and then Control V paste. If actually click on final, all of the system classifications were selected in here. So again, we can just set and or any kind of conditions that you want, for example, to this, or even for example, I can click on export in here, and in the path that we want to consider in here, we can save it. As an example, from this part, we will go to this folder in the name of Find Items. And then, for example, I can go to this folder that we created right now. The first user will be based on duct, and it is supply, for example. The type is supply in here. So the phrase supply air will be saved, that I'm aware that this is for this one. So save. If I go to this path in here, and I will open, for example, this folder, and we'll enter this path, and we see that this part, the XML, was saved, and I can just right click and I can, for example, take it to Notepad++. Let me open it. That element is based on the system classification, and for example, is supply air. You see, it is really interesting feature that we have. We can just create the others in here. What does it mean? It means it is really professional way. Without, for example, using the Navisworks, I can just create a lot of more system classifications in here. I can go in here and copy this and paste it in here. Let me just select another doc in here. For example, this is return, for example, in here. Let me copy value it. Let me return to this folder, and in here, copy, let me just delete it. Let me just correct it, and Notepad++ will be open, and in here, return will be added. System classification return. So save, let me save it, close. So let me find an exhaust in here, or anything else that I want to consider in here. Exhaust, for example, let me see that we have it in here or not. Zoom out, zoom in, here. So this is supply, this part, of course. So this is exhaust, yes. So let me return to here. Let me just Control C and Control V in here, paste it. So let me copy value, for example, in here. And then here, let me rename it exhaust, Notepad++. And then we can just change this amount in here. We can use it for any kind of category that we have. Save it and close it. So if right now, actually in Find Item window, for example, I've used it in here, find all, and for example, I've created in here. Let me just open the set window in here, and then I will go to this part. Search or save search will be selected. For this one was selected. I can right click and here delete, import here, for example, exhaust, open. Automatically was created in here, final, and all of them will be selected very easily. Import again, return, and open, find all, and you see save, for example. So this is really helpful and nice action that you can easily find items that you want, and you can create them, save them, and you can use in different projects that you want. So let me just select on it, copy, and here rename, Control V. The next one, so here return copy, right click, rename, Control V, and exhaust copy value in here, right click on it, rename, and then for this one actually here's apply, copy value, vary, search set is practical, safe search is really practical that we're learning them. So these two tools are really practical in Clash, in timing and animations. Of course, we really, a lot of places, a lot of conditions you'll need that, for example, use the safe search or anything else, for example, that you want to create them, then in the future you can use them faster, especially in Clash Detective topics and timing topics. They are really two important items that are really important that we'll use them.